United States District Court, Southern District. Oh, what is this? United States District Court, Southern District of Florida. Say that 3 times fast. All
No,
right.
I
So
can't.
this is the United States of America versus Ryan Wesley Routh. The attempted assassin, the second attempted assassin.
Hmm.
Um, Now we've all been hearing about this all last week, so I'm kind of done talking about what he did, but start going around like what's going on with his what's going on around him, all right,
Right.
and some of the things that we've found out. So today, as soon as I scroll down here, they officially posted, the DOJ posted this letter right here. All right. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's one particular part of this letter that is rather concerning. Do you know which part it is, Biddy?
Oh, I see a dollar sign there.
This one right here, where it says, "I will offer $150,000 to whoever can complete the job."
And okay, I, ugh, it gets me so hot because the amount of times that we've had, shootings and different things in this country, and they withhold the manifestos and things like that because they don't want that to get out, for various reasons, and probably a reason why I'm hot about them letting this out. Why let this out and kind of like advertise it as a want?
I don't know, but like,
Not saying that that's what they did. I'm just saying that that's some crazy out there is going to take it that way.
exactly. Now, when you look at all these other manifestos that have come out over the past couple of years, all right, what's the one thing they have in common is that they didn't show the manifesto until like enough time has
Until the
gone by,
smoke cleared.
until the
Yeah.
smoke cleared, and they
Mm-hmm.
do this on purpose because they don't want anybody
A
else to
copycat.
get any ideas
Mm-hmm.
on how to perform something like this next time,
Mm-hmm.
or to give subliminal messages out to certain people that you don't want having subliminal messages for.
Yeah. Even though Netflix will make a whole feature film about it, but I digress.
Well, like cuties.
Right. Well,
Oh, I could have a whole like Netflix
that could
episode
be a
on
whole
that
show.
one. That's a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whole show.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, but they offered 100. He offered 150K for anybody to finish the job. Right. When was the last time the DOJ ever released a manifesto like this? Like, I think the last time they allowed this to happen. I mean, I'm going to get into a couple of different examples here. Um, but what does the DOJ have to gain from this?
I don't. You know, when you have like so much in your head about why this is such a bad idea, it's very hard to think like objectively about like what could be the right way, like or what could be the reasoning for it. What do they think, like you said, to gain from it? I really I feel like Kamala now. I'm like restating the question and I'm not going to give an answer. Did I say that? Who said that? I'm sorry. But I don't know. Maybe they wanted to show, like that he did have some kind of like motive, and in his own words, kind of thing, to kind of let everybody know that it was him. I don't know. I feel like I'm grasping for straws trying to figure out why, other than that this was just a terrible idea. Like I don't know.
All right, so I think we got a post here from the Vigilant Fox on X. So, did it pop up? There we go. All right, so it says Jesse Waters raises serious questions about Trump's would-be assassin. Number one, how was Ryan Routh, a man with no money for child support, able to suddenly start living in a pricey house in Hawaii, probably Maui, and
Mm.
afford flights to Taiwan, Turkey, Poland, and Ukraine? All right, number two, why was Routh never served a day in jail when he has 100 different counts to his name? Why was Ruth's fiance, who just lost her job at Victoria's Secret, okay with him flying to Ukraine for months at a time? How was he able to feed himself in Ukraine when he only had $68 in his bank account? And everywhere he goes, he gets free press from the local papers to the New York Times to Newsweek. The whole thing stinks, and it suggests that someone other than Ruth's fiance was supporting him.
Right. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here, but the salary working at Victoria's Secret, I doubt can pay for a trip cross country, let alone overseas.
I can barely afford a trip across country.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would like to go to the next state over, and I can't afford it. And I make pretty all right money.
Like, I want this guy's agent. Like, I want to know what job he has to where he's just getting paid to do all this stuff and not have to work a day in his life.
Yeah, and money that they can't even find in his bank account. So what is he? What is he like walking around with a bunch of cash? Is he got like gift cards? Like what?
See, this is the moment where I think that if you were going to be not an elected official, but if you're part of the agencies, this is where you would lie.
Yeah,
Because everybody, like 90% of America, is probably in that position. Maybe
yeah,
not 90, but you get my point.
yeah, yeah.
So if we're all in that position, we all know we can't just get away with that
Right,
under any circumstance.
right.
So how exactly do we like what is the end game here? All right. Now, if you're going to release paperwork like this, you know what? Here, I'm just going to do this. Let's talk about the El Paso shooter and the Dayton shooter. All right. And
Mm.
this is a statement from the FBI. All right. So, attack in El Paso, Texas underscores continued threat to pose domestic violent extremists and perpetrators of hate crimes. The FBI supporting blah, 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 blah. But that's not the important part. The important part is down at the bottom. It says the FBI remains concerned that U.S. based domestic violent extremists could become inspired by these previously high profile attacks to engage in similar acts of violence. The FBI asks American public to report to law enforcement any suspicious activity observed by either person or online. So the biggest concern for the FBI is that releasing paperwork like this uh, can allow violent extremists, whether it's left, right, north, south, whoever it is,
Hmm.
to be inspired and to understand how they did this, so that they can go and try to make it better or do it again.
Yeah, it's like the difference. There. I mean, I know we were talking about another thing, but like the difference between the first shooter assassination attempt and the second. The first one, they couldn't find anything on the internet. He didn't have like a presence. This next one, he was everywhere. He was on videos. He was, and the way he was talking was very radical for quite some time. So, why, if you're gonna create a situation, or not a situation, but like trust in the American people to come to you when they have information, so that way you can gather it up to do the best thing possible to keep everybody safe. Why haven't you been following this guy forever? And why haven't you done something ahead of time?
Yeah, and wasn't he in another BlackRock video, unlike
Yes.
someone else?
Yes. I I guess it's just one of those coinkydinks.
Yep. No, just it's all coincidence. Everything's a coincidence. Everything that's happening now,
Hmm.
everything from BlackRock all the way to Haley Williams doing this dumb thing where she's like, oh, Trump's like agenda, and there's a guy holding a piece of paper right in front of her face. Don't think I didn't see that, Haley Williams. I used to like you. All right, I used to like you. Got a long way to go with me now. All right. Anyways, um, but yeah, it's just that there's all this craziness going on all across the country, and it's almost like we don't even have a leader to even say stop that.
Well, didn't they have just, I forgot what it was called now, so don't kill me. I mean, you guys are probably used to me by now, but they have like a recent meeting, and Joe Biden was at the head of the table. Nobody said anything about, like, can we talk about that? Like, why Biden wasn't there to head up that meeting?
See, even I didn't even know that. See,
It's
who's
just
giving the information right now? like,
no, but I'm just saying, like, all of this stuff just happens at once, and they know that it's all at once, so you
like,
can't focus.
ladies and gentlemen, I am the acting president of the United States. Just kidding, FBI. Just kidding. All right. But anyways, so let's see this last piece here. So I went to Google, and the last thing I want to talk about is the Unabomber, because remember that situation where they couldn't figure out who he was or where. So Google's AI decided to assist me on this and
Nice.
I said the Unabomber and why the New York Times sued for the manifesto to be released. All right, because remember the DOJ and FBI back then did not want the manifesto released in the event that he decided to do something, more extravagant. But in the manifesto itself, it stated, let's see, Senator Package of the Times, 1955, a typed copy of the manifesto that wrote, threatening to kill again if Times didn't publish the manifesto.
Wow.
So number one, it's like, okay, you don't want us to release it, but if somebody else dies, it's going to be our fault. Like,
right.
No.
Right. And it's like it's that whole thing of like blaming the person, blaming the victims, in like, even if it's like a whole bunch of people for the action of the person, because you're speaking on it, because you're bringing attention to it.
Right. So the New York Times had to go to court in order to release that. But here's the problem. The FBI, and I keep saying the FBI, it's DOJ. The DOJ, all right, they broke 50 years of precedent. Cut off their nose, spite their face.
Why?
For what reason? Because just like the manifesto in Nashville, it was the same thing. They're like, you cannot release it because there's a lot of damaging evidence. We don't want people, just for all the reasons I just mentioned before, which is they don't want other people getting an idea that, this is okay and incite them to do the same type of violence somewhere else.
No. And also, where is he going to get $150,000 too? With
Bingo!
With the $68 in his bank account. Like, where? If somebody can please tell me where this money is falling from the sky, I would like to go out and be under that rain cloud, because, like, something crazy is going on here.
Aaron said, I swear I saw that curtain move when you claimed to be president. They're just waiting for me to hit off air.
Right. Do you see like little feet underneath the curtain?
Yeah, right. You see like the door opening over here?
Yeah. That's why it's good to have that glow light, so it picks up shadows.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so they broke 50 years of precedence. So, for what? Because now what you've done is all these court cases that you've had beforehand, you have literally just kicked them out.
Yep.
Because what's going to happen? How is that going to affect the next 100 years of court cases when it comes to manifestos? You really think if they come in now that they're going to say, oh, well, that was different, but this is no. You screwed yourself over. And now this is going to be used in every other case moving forward.
Now this is gonna sound a little nuts, and I probably be off base, but like, and this is saying that we can trust the mainstream media, but it would be great if they all came out and did like a class action lawsuit against the DOJ for not allowing them to do that all these years, and to make it like a thing, like why they did it now, so that way it forces them to say something.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but they won't.
Yeah,
they won't do it. The people at the top are too far in cahoots in order to allow something like that to happen. But what you've also done is you've allowed independent journalists who get this information. Now we're going to look at you and be like, like,
right?
Are you serious? Like, right. Now you're going to tell me? Yeah, no. So you've and you can't take them to court over it, because now you have set the precedent. That's how a precedent works. All right, certain things change. Just like Chevron deference. The same thing with that. things changed. They set it up in 1986 and 2023, was it? They changed it. They
Yeah.
changed it because it was a bad idea. And this is just plain stupidity on
So
on the
now,
part of the DOJ.
so now going forward, God forbid, there is another kind of like, big, event tragedy that
Mhm.
happens. Are they just going to release it if there is one?
Well. Now they have every right to release it
Right.
because you can't be the lawmaker and and break your own.
Right.
I wouldn't say laws, but you
Yeah.
can't break your own precedent.
You can't speak from both sides of your mouth, but like in an action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
now
if
nobody's
they
going to care.
don't, then we get to ask why, and there's more reason why we ask why.
Exactly. Because nobody's going to care at this point.
Right.
So, but
Right.
anyways, so if we're going to go into final thoughts here, the so to end this particular case, I kind of want to. I don't want to see another shooting. All right,
No,
that is that's number one, and that's
of
clear from
course.
the get go.
Right.
But in the event this happens again, that thing's going to come out so fast that nobody's going to know what to do, and we're going to start getting more information on these people before they get a chance to scrub their accounts or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and people are going to end up saving those on hard drives
Mm-hmm.
and selling them on the black market or something.
And the media won't have a chance to build their
Mhm.
own narratives before, we get like, from the horse's mouth what their intentions were.
Exactly. So we all get that. So that was the whole point of that story. Now going back to the Save Act, here's the timeline. So Massey calls on the Save Act. Johnson leaves it out to avoid government shutdown. It showed that in the act that they were going to have to take accountability if something like that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And
Criminal
I'm pretty
charges.
sure, criminal charges or whatnot. And they weren't not like it was going to happen,
Right. Well, because
But
as you pointed out, there was just so much in it, that were tied to this piece of legislation they were trying to pass. That he said, why are you like pushing all of this, and then right up into the end where we have to worry about a government shutdown if we don't go through it. Why aren't you giving people enough time to go through this?
exactly.
And why isn't it just one matter that we have to address?
Right. So they didn't want to take accountability. Zelensky, shows his face, is
Mm-hmm.
trying to make sure he's going to get his money,
Mm-hmm.
But here's another point to this. Having Zelensky here, you imagine if the reason why they want to keep this going is because if they did add in the Save Act and it did pass, it also passes with the money to Ukraine to start World War III.
Mm.
So that was the trade-off. Republicans get saved, but the Dems get World War III.
Right. That's crazy. And that sounds like something unfortunately that sounds very plausible. And it's on a smaller level, less people losing their lives. That's the kind of what they did with the border bill. It was like holding our border safety hostage unless we give money overseas. It's always the same story.
Right.
It's always a trade-off. It's like a sacrifice, kind of.
Exactly. And then last but not least, Johnson leaves this out to avoid a government shutdown. So of course a lot of people were pissed off at him because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if he did, they would have, or if it didn't happen, they would have blamed Republicans anyway. Even though Chuck Schumer would have been the one to blame, because then it falls onto his desk.
Right.
Because it's already been there for a year.
Right.
On its own, and he hasn't even touched it.
Right.
So
And then
Well,
they go after the Republicans and Trump for stagnating the bill, saying like, oh, it could have been passed, but you wanted to hold it for political purposes. So why are you holding it?
yeah, exactly. But
Like,
they're holding it because of the political pressure in the inverse,
mhm,
knowing that it was a government shutdown, knowing that there's going to be veterans that need their pay, they're going to need their pensions, they're going to need the VA assistance, all this
right,
other stuff. Then you also know that it's right before an election. So how would that make them look?
right. I wish there was a way that you can separate. I mean, it probably could never happen, and it probably would never happen, even if it was a possibility. But I wish there was a way that you can separate those kind of like government job spending from, Congress getting their money, because that would change a lot, because then they wouldn't be in, then they couldn't, get the tears from the everyday people that are just government workers, that will lose out on their money, and say we're all in this together, like just kind of
Yeah,
separate
right.
it, and it be just like the Congress, and that's it,
Can we
like,
all just get along?
right. I'm just like you. I just have, you know very high priced, so, security with teams, and I get to go to like mansion parties and whatnot.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, anyways, that was fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to get those two stories out the way.
No, this was a
Um,
great these were great choices. There was, like you said earlier, there was a lot going on, and I think you did a great job, as well as everybody, in the back, to highlight the ones that need to be talked about. It's not easy.
yeah, yeah. I think it was there. It wasn't as much as there was a lot going on. There wasn't a lot going on, but there was a lot going on within those small stories. you
That's
know,
true. That's true. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
so there was a
But
lot
like
to
the
cover today.
parts that are important that need to be highlighted. Yeah, yeah. You're right.
Exactly.
Hmm.